you got the setup like myself, old couch.
Yeah, this is my office. If I roll back, you see the chaos that it actually.
Yeah.
I got this. I got some cool stuff. Let me show you something real quick. I think
So,
it's cool anyway. So this guy I did an interview with, he's for the Examiner, like the big newspaper
yeah, yeah.
conglomerate. And so he was like, "Oh man, I got some cool stuff. I'll send you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so he sent two of them. Unfortunately, the post office crushed them, but that's okay because I won't ever sell them. But have you ever seen these? Are you a Star Wars fan?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
That's
these are
sick,
like,
man.
yeah, they're like limited edition IMAX posters they gave away. That one's like
Wow,
ridiculously
that's really nice.
right. And then the artist's name, I don't remember the guy's name. Mark, it's Mark Texeria, who's a pretty decent comic book guy.
Yeah,
So like they sent this piece over.
yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of fun to like. I don't get a lot of cool shit, so like when someone sends me something random, I get excited. Especially if it's Star Wars. I'm such a nerd, so
I thought you were supposed to get like a cool swag bag. You know, like don't you? No, no.
I'm nobody, man. I'm
Yeah.
nobody. The only thing I've ever got, I went to Korea for a film festival for Convergence,
Okay.
and they gave me they flew us over and they were showing it, and so they gave us like a really killer backpack, like this really nice backpack and a bunch of like cool stuff inside of it. But that's the only swag I've ever gotten. Otherwise, you know, pay for it yourself, you scummy indie.
Yeah, that's tough. I think everybody just assumes you get like that $30,000 swag bag that they give at the Oscars or.
Oh, of course, I'd love that. I'd sell every piece of it and just
Oh, I know. It would be
I'd fund a
great.
microfilm with it. I'd come up there and shoot our movie like we talked about.
Oh yeah, man. We should definitely we got to do that. We got to do that. So that's crazy. So what are you? I know you can't talk too much about it, but are you working on something right now for like the follow up for Convergence and stuff like that, or?
Yeah. Actually, I got a couple of things. So I right after Convergence, because it was kind of emotionally taxing, we shot a comedy called Nigel and Oscar versus the Bigfoot versus the Sasquatch, and it's got like Tim Meadows from SNL, Ladies Man, Neil Flynn from The Middle, Paul Britton from SNL, and my friend Adam Hirschman, who was in a movie called Accepted. And so we shot this comedy. It's pure comedy. It's not horror comedy or anything in that vein. It's kind of like it's family friendly in the sense that the jokes are timing jokes
Okay.
and yeah it's not a lot of like gross out humor. It's clean
So
humor.
like PG-13,
I'd say
PG.
PG. I'd say PG.
Wow,
Yeah,
PG. Okay, wow.
and it's tough. Comedy's the hardest thing. I don't know if I'd ever go back to comedy. Like, I mean, I do. I want to do more comedy stuff, but it was tough. So we have that, and then I'm developing a script. I've been working on it for a couple years now. It's called Black Eyed Kids. It's a horror film,
Okay.
supernatural, based on
Yeah, definitely.
you know that urban legend.
Oh, definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah. We're up here. I know a lot of the paranormal guys, and I help organize a paranormal convention every year
Oh,
up
nice.
here. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty big. My buddy Brad's, who's the Creaking Door.
Yeah, yeah.
He's out with Nick Roth right now in Colorado. So yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's like right in your wheelhouse then.
Yeah. See, I like it from a legends aspect, but
Right,
these guys, man, true believers, like
right,
true believers.
right.
I think it's fun. Like I like the legends. I like the Bigfoot. Um, Alien stuff is cool.
Right.
When I was 16, X Files was really popular,
Of
and
course.
so it was like mine and my stepdad's. That was our show,
Right.
and we were going to California. My mom wanted to do all of Route 66 whole thing, and then so we veered off and we went to Area 51.
Oh man, I've never been. I've always wanted
It's a
to.
cool town. I mean, I was 16, so that was 20 years ago.
Right.
But so I think it's still a cool town. I don't know. I haven't been anywhere since though. Like pretty much. Well, I've been overseas a few times, but yeah, I would love to get back out west. So
Yeah, so yeah, I'm with you, and that's the kind of stuff like you haven't had a chance to see Convergence, though, have you?
I have not. I have not.
Yeah. I'll
I've
see if I can get you a screener because I think you would probably like it. I mean, it's heavy-handed in some ways. It's a film. It's a lot of film theory and thought in the movie,
sure.
but there's a really cool element of supernatural paranormal stuff that I
I
think.
really like Ethan Embry.
Yeah.
He's an actor who's like really surprising.
Right.
Um, because like what is that? The one he did with Tom Hanks. Like, that's what I remember him as. And then I picked up Cheap Thrills,
Oh yeah,
when it
great
came
movie.
out, and I was like, this is Ethan Embry. Like, what's going on? Like this isn't the same guy. He's put on like, I don't know, 75 pounds or something. Shaved the head.
Wait till
Uh,
you see him in this. Like he's insane. I promise.
yeah,
Never seen him like this. Like Cheap Thrills, he was great, and I love his performance in that. But what he gave us on Convergence is, I mean, he is truly insane. It's great.
wow, well, that's
Yeah, it's,
cool. Now, when you're like, you know, the casting as a director, I mean, it's like so important because you could put, like even just because you're like a good actor doesn't mean you're right for the right part.
mhm.
How do you, determine that, especially on indie film? Because it's not like I think I'll just give Russell's people a call, or what's Christian Bale doing? Is he in between projects? Can I get him? Like
Right.
that's got to be tougher, right?
Oh, it is, but it's you find the balance, right? So you one of the ways to do it is you look at your budget, what you've raised,
Yeah.
and you go backwards.
Okay.
And so like for us, for Convergence, we knew what our budget was, so we went and applied that budget to reaching out towards Ethan and Clayne and Michael
Okay.
T. Williamson, because those are three guys I had wanted to work with, and I'd kind of written, I'd definitely written Michael T. Williamson's role. I wrote it for him. And then Ethan and Clayne kind of came through the producer saying, "Hey, I know a guy," and you start doing these deals. And
Sure.
then Clayne became important because of the way. But you kind of go backwards. You kind of look at it that way. At least that's the way I approach it. And then I do a lot of open casting to see who I can find that might be, just available that's cool enough to just come potentially play in that sandbox. And that's where we got like Alicia O'Shea and Laura Cowett. And Laura Cowett, I mean, she's Leonardo DiCaprio's sister in Django. Like she's awesome, and
Yeah.
suddenly she's sitting, across from me, and we're talking about a character, and so you kind of go just like the independent spirit of filmmaking or indie films is to do what you got to do to make the movie work. It's the same kind of way in casting. You just throw it out and see what happens. I mean, that's the honest to God's truth of it.
And then you're just surprised that you just
Oh
never know
yeah,
who. Because I know I read when the Wes Anderson, when they did Bottle Rocket, like they shot a film but they couldn't finish it, so they only had like 15 minutes. Showed it at Sundance, and like James Caan just like they wanted him, bugged him, and he's like, yeah, this is pretty good. I think
yeah.
I'll do it. Like
It's still
yeah,
like with actors. The cool part is, actors still respond to material. So,
sure,
like, if you have short films, I mean, and that's the best piece of advice you can ever give is like shoot as many short films as you can to learn, so that when you go make your first feature, you seem like a seasoned veteran, because then the actors have trust with you, and you kind of go that route. So, like, shorts are great, and that's another example of why they're so powerful. Is I mean, a
yeah.
short film it tells the actor or producers or anybody involved that may be above your level, if you will. It allows them to kind of see where you're going to stand as a director or a writer or producer or whatever you're trying to accomplish.
That's awesome, man. Now, I don't want to take a whole lot of your time because I know you're really busy, guy. But just quickly, like for you, because you write and you direct, where does the idea come from, and what's your process like?
It's weird. I read a lot of material, like articles that show up, and if I see something that interests me, I'll start cataloging ideas. Um, that's one aspect of it. I did that. I was working on a script. I'm back and forth on it about zero-day attacks, like hacking type
Yep.
stuff, but more from a um, conspiratorial point of view of what you could actually do with like a Stuxnet if you modified it. And
Okay.
and so I got really interested, and I'll do a ton of research, and it'll just keep helping to build ideas. And then other times it's I listen to like Coast to Coast AM and
Oh,
Darkness Radio.
George Norrie.
George Norrie, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I'm an Art Bell guy. I grew up on Art Bell.
Okay, okay. And then, man, the Darkness guys.
Dave Schrader.
Yeah, Dave Schrader. Met him a number of times. He's going to be up here in August. So,
Oh, no kidding.
yeah, 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 man.
I used Darkness Radio's logo and made a couple of jokes with them in Nigel and Oscar about Bigfoot.
Oh,
Because
right on.
anyway, so I listen to those
We got
guys
to
and
get
get
you on Dave's show.
I need to be on Dave's show. I've been bugging Dave. I sent him Convergence. I'm waiting for him to. I wish they'd watch it, and because I know Dave will love that movie based on
Yeah,
I wrote that script. I was listening to a lot of Darkness, and he was there's so many elements in Convergence that seem to align with what Dave. I didn't write it for Dave, obviously, but there's
sure.
ideas in the movie that align with things that Dave said. As I was writing, I was like, oh my god, he's gonna love this. But he's a busy guy. Getting him to see the movie is one thing, and his opinion is very valuable to me because I think he's not only entertaining, I think he's a really cool guy. So
Yeah, yeah,
so that's part of it. Then I write 2 hours every day. That's a big part of it. So it's just writing 2 hours every day, whether it's rewriting something or just crafting ideas. I go that route. And then the last trick for me that has been the most beneficial, as weird and potentially nerdy to some people as it sounds, is I play a lot of RPGs. And I don't mean video games. I'm talking about tabletop.
okay, okay. So
And
you're like a hardcore. I mean, nerd, man. That's just like that is like
but look, that is the best story. Everybody has great ideas,
sure.
right? So we'll play a game, and we're doing a Star Wars campaign right now during Age of Rebellion, which is pre. It's just post Battle of Yavin before Hoth. So we're playing in this world. So I'm GMing, so I write the story and see how these characters interact. Now, what I'm doing is I base that story on a script idea I might have, and then the archetypes that I would probably put in the script are the player characters, and they're making their own decisions. But it helps guide me on ideas to, oh, it'd be really cool. This kind of character, like a gangster like this, might do something more like this. He's a pretty clever guy, because these guys are
Sure.
acting it out. So it just helps me kind of hammer ideas down. As nutty as that sounds, it's an awesome tool. And it's even fun. It's more fun if you have actors that you can get to play with you, because then they bring something whole new to the table.
I was talking to some actress, Melanie Stone, does some indie stuff, and she was saying she was in fantasy. Gosh, I can't. Mythica series. They
Oh,
raised like
yeah,
a ton of money.
yeah.
It's not bad. It's pretty decent
Out
stuff.
of Utah, I think. Those guys are.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And she was saying like Vin Diesel is like a big role playing guy.
Yeah.
Like, and I just like it's like I want to see a picture of Vin Diesel like
Actually,
rolling the die.
two things about it. You could actually read his foreword in. I think he wrote the foreword in D&D 3.5 or
Wow,
4.
you like
Yeah,
know it by like
yeah. But he was on I think it's called Critical Role. You can actually watch him play Critical Role and I think like him doing role playing. It's on the internet somewhere. It's pretty fascinating. It's not quite as cool as I'd hoped, but it's still cool.
that's that's nuts. That's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
that's
It's weird,
nuts.
man.
That's nuts. But man, the reason we're talking is between the lines.
Right?
You're really great podcast. You just put out the first roll call or what? Hold your roll.
Hold the role. Yeah,
Hold
yeah.
the roll.
That's a film.
Uh, yeah, it was kind of like a short, compact episode. I liked it. It was a lot of fun. Um, like, how did you, like, as a filmmaker, because I think there's a purpose behind your podcast. It's not like the rest of us guys who are just like complaining about comic books or like, why is this movie? Why did we not like this movie or whatever? But you guys are like almost educational. You're like the PBS
Right.
of of
So
podcasting.
if we were having an Anchorman fight, I would have that cool little afro. Is what you're
Yeah, yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah.
No, the truth of it is there's not a lot of filmmaking podcasts that kind of cover the information that we were looking for. There's a lot of podcasts out, and they're great that are that talk about how to make movies or opinions of how to make movies, but they don't really they cover a very selected amount of information. And what we were looking for is something for the working professional and or someone wanting to get into the business or has an interest in the business to kind of show them all the different aspects of it. So that's why we interview like cinematographers,
Yeah,
and then we'll go. I just did an interview with a sales agent, and that is the person who sells the movie after it's done. And her insight is crazy. I mean, she
sure.
she goes off on a few rants. It's like, whoa, I thought you loved movies. Where are you going with it? So, and then actors and all that. But the idea is to kind of like, okay, here's how to consider movies are made beyond just Leonardo DiCaprio gets attached to The Revenant. I mean, okay, we
Sure,
all get it.
sure,
So we,
sure.
we
And
kind of
you're
want,
James Cameron. You get to play with
yeah,
$200 billion,
exactly.
and nobody like, oh, what deadlines? Nah, you're James Cameron. Do whatever you want.
Exactly.
Take 2 decades. We don't care.
Well, of course, he makes $1 billion per every movie.
Sure, sure.
It's okay. That's a good bet. That's a good
Yeah,
bet. But it's more it's centered on the idea of trying to help people grow, or people that are interested to teach them the true insanity, the amount of work that we put into
sure.
every single movie that we do as filmmakers. So it's just kind of an exploratory process.
That's cool. I'm sure there are parents who are very happy that their teenagers will listen to this, because then they'll realize that filmmaking is a real job. It's a hard work. It's not Leonardo DiCaprio and yachts and Victoria's Secret models.
For some people, it is, but
Sure.
for the majority of people, it's a career, and
Yeah.
so you the commitment you place into that career starts, whenever you really want to commit, and then like the rest of us, we don't just focus on the film side. Often we talk to people about their family life, because I think that's important. One of the challenges with the industry is that it's 12, 14, 16, 24-hour days.
Wow.
That takes its toll on your family life, and there is something to be said of achieving that balance. And if we can provide any sort of help or guidance to those maybe that are going, some of that side of it, it's just insight is what we're after.
Well, that's awesome, Drew. Thank you again for chatting with me. Now, one more time, where can people catch Convergence? It's
Sure.
on VOD. Is it
It's
DVD?
everywhere.
Everywhere?
It's Blu-ray, DVD, Best Buy, all the VOD networks, iTunes, all that good stuff. I think it's even on like VOD cable side. Yeah, that's everywhere. It's pretty much everywhere.
Everywhere. And there's a web companion series too, right? That you're working on or thinking
It's
about, or
it's done. The only reason I haven't dropped it yet is because press has still been picking up a little bit on the movie,
okay.
and if I drop the web series, it spoils what most people that like the movie. It spoils that part like outright. It just completely ruins the entire idea of what the big twist in Convergence is. Nobody sees it coming, and so if I drop this too soon, you'll see what's coming. It takes away from the story a little bit.
Okay. So watch the movie, get it on iTunes or Amazon, wherever you want, and then wait for the web series to come out.
Absolutely. The other thing we're going to do, yeah, soon, hopefully. The other thing that we're doing is on convergencemovie.com in a couple of, like a week or so. For whatever reason, the Blu-ray didn't contain the commentary, and that upset me because I think commentary for filmmakers is cool, right?
Yep.
And so what I did is I went back and took the commentary, recorded. There's the first one coming out is myself and the VFX producer that we just kind of talk about the VFX and that side of it. But what we did, instead of just being an audio commentary like a riff tracks or MST key 3K, whatever, I just messed that up.
Yeah,
Mystery Science Theater vibe, is that we actually did video. So like it'll have like a static graphic that kind of plays, and then there'll be a countdown. So when we're talking about a scene, I sunk up all the B-roll we had, so you can actually see the behind the scenes footage while listening to a commentary, while watching the movie at the same time, and you can literally see how we shot certain sequences as we're talking about them. So it's not just a before and after, it's at the same time. You get to kind of watch both elements of it.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man.
And that'll be free. I'm going to give that away for completely free.
Wow. That's like some Peter Jackson stuff. Like when that Lord of the Rings series came out with the appendices, and it was like, like there was like more it was like, did they make a film or did they just make a bunch of documentaries about a film?
Yeah. But that's what makes it cool. That's what excites me about being a filmmaker. So that's what we've kind of
No, it is cool because they suckered me. I watched every single little 30-minute thing on costume design, and I don't know, they had like one on the weather of, it was just basically come visit New Zealand, but
right.
It looks beautiful, so if I ever get a chance, I'd love to do it. So
well, Horst is in one of those too. He worked on The Hobbit.
Cool.
Yeah, so the co-host of Between the Line is a Weta guy, Weta Digital, and so Horst worked on The Hobbit, and there's on one of the Hobbit discs, there's a great interview with him that he's just kind of rambling on like he does about whatever silly stuff he's dealing with. But yeah, there's some cool stuff on the Hobbit one as well.
Well, very cool. Thank you again, Drew. And man, you got to check out Between the Lines. It's an awesome podcast. And then Convergence and everything else you got going. So, and then someday we're going to make that film in Detroit. It's going to be spectacular.
That's what's going to happen. The greatest movie never made.
It's perfect. I think Warren Beatty owns that one, isn't it? Or is
Probably.
his finally
Yeah.
coming out or something?
Yeah, I think it's finally going to make its head through. So we'll see.
Cool, man. Hey, take it easy.
Thanks, brother.
Bye.